We have a quorum otherwise without those.
Traditional. Well, I had it on the larger theater project, and I got gorgeous. I don't see a big deal.
All right, so we are at 7 o'clock, so we will.
Oh, you did make it.
I did just barely. Yeah, fun time with the sick kid at home, so a little bit tight on the schedule. Absolutely. Any public comment today? Anything you'd like to say today? Thank you so much. So that brings us to approval of the meeting minutes. I hope everybody had a chance to review the meeting minutes. Any additions or corrections at this point? No additions or corrections. I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes. Anyone would like to make that motion? Anyone want to make the motion to approve the minutes?
Sure.
We have a motion to approve the minutes. We have a second to approve the minutes.
I second to approve the minutes.
Wonderful. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Wonderful. Meeting minutes pass. Next, on to the financial report. Randy, anything to draw our attention to on the financial report today?
No, not really. I mean, January is a slow spin month, so nothing really shows up. You'll see the under revenues, the rec miscellaneous at net 9750. And I was going to say this in the director's report, but it's up to 10,750 now as of today.
Did we get the change we were talking about? Was that on this report, or is that going to be for next month? The extra line item?
Well, there won't be. You won't see the sub line.
The sub line.
It'll be
We'll be
click
on
and
this
open,
one.
but you won't see it. Phyllis has it set up as you won't click on it to open it.
Gotcha. So it still won't be on this report, but we'll still have that. You'll see that.
I'll see it. Rick, or not Rick, but Greg and I will be able to look at, click and open it.
So there was the one line item from last year was around playground
Materials and
supplies, where we ran over and there was a question about, we were sharing that with another department. So on the internal view, we've made a change where that's going to have an extra line. So Randy will be able to see that view, so we'll be able to keep better track of that line item going forward. So it's not going to be reflected on this report, but it's something we're going to have visibility for going forward, so that doesn't catch us again. Wonderful. Any other questions on the financial report? Would anyone like to make a motion to approve the financial report? We have a motion. Anyone make a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor of approving the financial report? Aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it. We have approved financial report. So on to subcommittee reports. All right. Jess, you're up first with Earth Day.
Okay, Earth Day is on Saturday, April 26th this year. It's 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. So we extended it by an hour, so similar to like lighting the greens. 2 hours we felt like wasn't quite enough time, so we extended it to a 3-hour time frame. It's a little bit later this year because Easter is the week prior, so it got pushed back. So it'll be interesting to see how the attendance plays out. It's the same day as the West Reading beer and festival, like beer and pretzel festival. So I'm almost thinking like in terms of attendance, I feel like more people will come because they could hit the Earth Day and then go to West Reading, or vice versa if they're interested in that. But we'll see how that. It does take away some of our vendors that we were hoping to bring to the events for the farmers market. Some of the places we had hoped that would participate this year are on the Avenue, and why would you leave the Avenue if you're expecting there to be thousands of people at the Avenue? So that's just one thing to note this year. We did find money for Earth Day. So there is actually a budget for Earth Day, which is new. We haven't realized that for the past 2 years. So there is money set aside in the refuse and recycling budget. So it's similar to the playground money where we share it with the refuse and recycling committee, and Earth Day falls into that budget line item. So we do have some money this year, so that's exciting. So the exact amount we have, we're not sure. We share it with the refuse and recycling, but we do have some money, so that's good. In terms of some of the events, we have Kids Nature Bingo. Home Depot is sponsoring that again this year with all the prizes. Wyomissing Library will do story time. We're bringing back the Maggie's Mother Earth show again. She did some singing and nature stuff like that. We have nature puzzles. Randy purchased some new puzzles for us. We have Wyomissing Library is doing a nature book nook. So if you've been to the library and have seen like their setup with the felt campfires and the rug and the tent and stuff like that, it's a cute little setup. They're going to bring that to the pavilion, have it set up, and bring a bunch of like nature related books. So it can be like kids can sit down independently to read, or they can sit down with their caregiver and read in that like book nook area. We're gonna do the nature scavenger hunt again, which is a texture scavenger hunt. So kids just get a piece of paper and go around and try and find something that's slippery or something that's rough, and then they draw a picture, write down what they found. We're gonna have some, like on the back of that sheet, we'll have some coloring that Randy found. He found some good pictures and puzzles for that. I'm going to ask Berks County Rocks to participate again this year. I haven't posted yet, but last year I posted on the Facebook group just asking for people to donate nature-themed rocks, and it was awesome. So they dropped off the rocks here at the Borough Hall, and then the morning of the event, Rick and Sally and I, and then my son and husband were helping, and we all hit all the rocks in Happy Hollow the morning right before the event. And then during the event, the people that attended were able to look for a Berks County rock. So we're planning to do that again. Newcastle will be there doing tree climbing with a harness. And then we'll have the Gaga Ball and yard games available as well. Other things, crafts, we'll have Wyomissing Library there for a craft. Girl Scouts are participating with a craft. And then the Environmental Club will do some sort of craft. The Master Gardeners will be back in full force with probably 10 tables again. They were there with a lot of tables last year and had a variety of educational topics. Berks Nature will be there with a couple ambassadors. We're hoping that the Park and Shade Tree Commission can participate and the Refuse and Recycling Committee can participate. Berks County Conservation District will be there, which is new this year. They're going to do mosquito education, which we felt was a really relevant topic because like they sample around the county and they can talk about the different types, different species of mosquitoes, their feeding times, what diseases they can potentially carry, what we as homeowners or residents of the borough can do to try to mitigate the population in an environmentally friendly way. Master Watershed Stewards will be there doing something with water quality. So the event is shaping up to be very good. In addition, we have the farmers market. So we've been working to try to expand the number of people participating in that. So we have Girl Scouts are doing a bake sale, and some places where we invited like Wild Birds Unlimited. We're hoping they'll have a table this year. Honey Place will be back. Fresh flowers again. We have cotton candy with natural dyes. Things like that at the farm.
B&H back again?
I don't know. That's Randy's
haven't
contact.
responded yet.
So we're hoping. So if you know of anything, like the idea is like a farmer's market, goods, food, crafts, whatever, but like nature themed, like more like environmentally friendly, right? So like Wild Birds Unlimited could be there selling birdseed, or like honey, things like that. The cotton candy with natural dyes.
The Tools Botanica would be a good one too. The Tools Botanica. She's in West Reading. Monica.
Is that what do they sell?
She makes all her own products. She makes body soap. She makes soaps and lip balms and oils. And
cool. Can you? What's the name? How do you spell it?
Betula. Betula.
L.A.
Apostrophe S.
Botanica in West Reading.
Yeah, she's on the 400 block.
It's gonna be hard though because it's the beer and pretzel festival. So
Yeah,
like any of those
she
vendors were
might.
like, ooh, are they gonna leave on a Saturday? That's gonna be like hopping.
She might be able to send somebody else over to work another table.
But we're always like any kind of things like that is great. We're also hoping that the Georgian and Greek bakery, the new one that went in on Evans that replaced Farmhouse Kitchen, is going to participate. Right? Like we're hoping that they're.
Did you contact
I
them?
sent them an email, but I haven't heard back.
I think you
Okay.
mentioned it. I mentioned it in
Right.
person, and then Randy sent the email. So we're
Okay.
like still tentative, but they seemed interested. So, but we could use some more vendors for the farmers market. So if you know of anybody or you think of anybody,
Goose Lane in front, you guys ever?
I tried.
They said-
I emailed and they said they're unavailable.
Darn.
I know, because I love they have their ketchup. And they have like,
Yeah, I love
I
that.
asked them to sell like eggs and ketchup and like whatever, and they said they were unavailable. I tried them. We tried Winnie T Bar was very interested, but it's the day of the Day of the Avenue, you know, then Gem on Penn, we tried Farmhouse Kitchen for fresh pressed juices.
There's usually a kid at the high school that does like an aquaphonics internship, something through, it's somehow sponsored by Masano. You know, you could try to get a hold of that. I can email somebody.
So what would they have? Like they would have a.
Well, I don't know. All I know is like there's usually a senior that has an internship that they go off campus for, but they always bring lettuce back, and it's always like it says it's like from this aquaponics project. That would be a cool if they won. Okay, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
Indoor growing.
Sorry,
that's not making sense to me.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
You know, when they grow lettuce in just water with fish, that I think.
Yeah.
Do you have a contact for them?
I can find out
Okay.
who I can get it, I think.
Yeah, and then a couple other things, like last year we had a couple recyclable drop-offs. We had old sneakers the Girl Scouts collected. I'm hoping they're going to do that again this year. We haven't really heard yet what they're officially doing yet. And then iGreen Electronics came and collected electronic like waste or to recycle. They don't seem to be interested this year, but Randy has another lead with a business in Singing Spring, Easy PC, and then he's hoping that they'll be present and accept electronic recyclables. So that's kind of the Earth Day event itself, but just a reminder if you're new to the rec board or if maybe you haven't attended Earth Day the past couple of years, we've really worked to expand the audience for it. So the fair portion is like 10 to 1, and that's like, you know, family friendly, like family geared. But then prior to Earth Day, like the week leading up to Earth Day, I'll put a scavenger hunt in the parkland again, like a tree scavenger hunt. And this year, Longwood Gardens has partnered with us. We have 2 tickets to Longwood Gardens as the prize. If you do the scavenger hunt in the parkland and you bring your completed sheet to the Earth Day Fair, and you hand it in, and then you get a chance to win the 2 tickets to Longwood Gardens. So I'm hoping to get like more participation, and Randy is gonna advertise it in additional ways as opposed, like not just on Facebook. He's gonna try to put it on the website or whatever as well. And then the morning before the event, Sally is coordinating with the Cub Scouts. They'll do a trash cleanup in the parkland like they did last year. So the Cub Scouts will be doing that. And then we have the fair. And then after the fair, the Master Watershed Stewards are going to do the macroinvertebrate inventory again, the Wyomissing Creek. So we have the volunteers to do that like we did last year. And if you recall last year, like we didn't get as many as it kind of, I felt like we had too narrow of an age range, so we expanded it to now it's 12 and up. So like if you and your son want to come and do the macroinvertebrate inventory, or if you are, you know, if you're just, you know, you live by yourself and you just want to come check it out, you've never gotten into the creek and done water, like you're welcome to come and participate. So it's 12 and up. It is capped though, because based on how many volunteers we have, they have a ratio that they don't exceed. So that's what's going on for Earth Day. Any questions? If they have, so right now we have 3 Master Watershed Stewards, so it'd be 15.
Okay.
But if another Master Watershed Steward steps up, then we could expand it to 20. So it's like they're comfortable with like a 5-to-1 ratio.
So I just got a Girl Scout update. They want 3 tables this year, 1 for food and 2 for crafts. And I think they're gonna still work on trying to get the sneaker thing out there.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. Oh, one more thing. Have you guys been to the farm show in, you know, the PA farm show? Have you done that? They have like this thing called Ag Explorers where the kids go around with a paper and they visit a table, they do the activity at the table, and then they get a stamp. And then they go to a different table and they learn about mosquitoes and and they do this activity and then they get a stamp. And so this Nature Explorers, that's gonna be the day of the Earth Day Fair. For kids, they can go around and get stamps at the different educational tables, and then they show their stamps at the end, and they drop off this little thing, and they can win 5 tickets to Hawk Mountain. So we're kind of doing the prizes differently this year. Instead of like having just random raffle, we're doing like if you do the tree scavenger hunt, you get a chance to win the tickets to Longwood Gardens. If you do the Nature Explorers, you get a chance to win tickets to Hawk Mountain. And it's based on age, so like if you have a 4-year-old, they don't have to do 12, they have to do 4. You know, if they're 8, they do 8. And that's the idea. Okay.
Wonderful. Any other questions? Thank you so much. It sounds like it's really coming along.
Oh yeah, we're
Impressive how it works.
doing well, I think.
Tremendous.
Yep.
All right, on to the egg hunt.
My egg hunt update is anticlimactic, but that's a good thing. We're just figuring out how many eggs in total we want to have. So Randy's going to locate them and we're going to count them and then go from there and invest in more. We're just not sure how many more. So we have to determine that based on how many we have. The Wyomissing Social Committee is sponsoring Corpo. They're giving them a donation in exchange for Illinois Express, which they were happy about. So we're going to set that up once we have our eggs and everything together. And then I'm going to work on the Sign Up Genius links. So I'll send that out to, I'm going to have one for adults and then one for high school volunteers. That's really my top priority, is just getting as many people as I can. So I know Randy sent out an email, so I'll reply to that and send the actual link so you can pick how many age group you prefer. If you just want me to pick for you, I can do that too. The probably 6, 7, 8, 9-ish range is probably one that's going to need the most policing, if that's a consideration for you. And then we just still have to determine exactly how big we want the spaces to be. We were debating between using the same spaces as last year or possibly making them bigger and just rotating them like every other age group. And then I still want to work a little bit on just streamlining the egg return and prize handout process. That tends to backlog quite a bit. And I know that Randy told me the drama performance is prior to the egg hunt this year, and that's typically, they're usually our egg return volunteers because they hand out their advertisements. I'm not sure, they weren't super enthusiastic about joining us last year, so I don't know now that there's not a show afterward if they're, still going to want to. So I'm going to open it up to them, but also the other high schoolers too, and see if we can, get as many people as we can.
Did you send it, are you thinking of sending it to Megan Phil one?
Yeah, I'll send it to Dr. Jones and then he sends it out to everyone. So I'm hoping like the service club, typically like they'll send a couple. Like there are a couple clubs that I know and I start to see the same faces of like everything. So a couple kids will like just sign up for everything. But I've never done that before. Typically it's just the drama. So hopefully they'll still want to participate and then we can just get extra.
I will reach out to some. I feel like drama once the show's over, they kind of dissipate from interest. So I don't think you'll have a good turnout.
Yeah,
and there's also nothing at that point that they want out of the adults, so they, they don't
Yeah.
want to show up and look again. They're like, check you later.
Yeah. Yep. So that's I think the thing that's going to make it run the most.
We can require stage group.
We just need as many eyes and hands as possible to try to keep everyone in line. But adults, I think, are going to be the most important because we had the kids last year and we didn't really do so much. But that's about it. That's where we're at. Randy and I just talked Friday.
I don't want to put anybody on the spot. I only heard back from 2 people. I sent a note to everybody asking for age group volunteers, just to kind of expand on that. We're not looking to make the event bigger. Like I said before, learn that bigger is not always better. So with this specifically, to try to cut down on the chaos, we need an adult in the room. We can get a lot of high school volunteers. Sally's proved that with different events. I mean, we get a lot of high school kids. The problem is there's candy. Candy makes kids go crazy. They make parents go crazy. So in each one of the corrals, we need a rec board member. And within that, you'll have high school volunteers that'll come out and help you, but we want to have somebody in each one of those groups. I only heard back from 2 people. Jess is out of town, her husband's got a marathon, and Sally said she could work any age group that we pick for her. But we really need the rec board to step up and say, okay, I will take the 1 and 2 year olds, or I'll take the 3s and 4s. And again, not to put you on the spot, but please reply and either say, no, I can't help you, I'm out of town, I can't do it, or yes, sign me up, I'm good, I'll take the 5-year-olds. So any help you can give would be great.
Yeah, Kate did tell me when I sat down that I can give her any age group, so I'll assign her to someone. But yeah, it's not a very long time commitment either. Like you can literally come, we have it all timed out, so you can come 5 minutes, 10 minutes before and leave as soon as it takes them 30 seconds to pick all the eggs. So it's not long.
Yeah. It's really nice.
Well, I'll talk to you about it because it will depend
any other questions for Kristen?
When is the apron this year?
Is it the 12th of April? I can't.
The pasta.
12th of April.
That's the
12th of
Saturday.
April. And then the rain date is the Sunday after that, so 13th. Yeah. I think it's a little later on Sunday, but all the same.
Yeah, it starts at 1.
But rain?
All right, moving on. So, 4th of July Independence Day Parade and Celebration. So that's me. So we did have a meeting overall. So some of the big things to hash out, and we were looking to try to get ideas for the theme. And I think we had a few floating around. Additionally, some of the conversations we had just involved parade logistics. So trying to pare down the parade a little bit, having it be a little bit more Wyo-centric in general, talking about how we can get more community groups or types of people involved in the parade, limiting some of the cars, congestion as well with the check-in, and there was a suggestion of opening up maybe a handicap viewing area, or a limited mobility viewing area, so make it easy in, out, like, hey, if you're having trouble, let's reserve this section for people who are going to have trouble getting to the front. So we have some of those ideas floating around as well. Did anybody have any thoughts on the ideas for the themes that were floated around, or anybody come up with other ideas on their own at the moment? Do you know if you have, do you have the list handy that you can pull up?
No, the only two that Mike had American Greens, but I looked it up and I did that last year. No wonder I liked it right off the bat.
I
give a couple.
Kristen had one that I liked. I was iffy about it. It was red, white, and boom, which in my opinion would be super easy to decorate for that, but it could be misconstrued and read into with the word boom. And some people, you can't make everybody happy, but you want to lessen that opportunity. So I'm kind of iffy on the name of that one. So those are the only two that really
Red, white, and blue.
bloom.
Ooh, right.
Lots of flowers.
Red, white, and blue flowers.
I don't know, wordplay.
Another one, I thought it was just the parade in general, maybe like Grand Old Parade. I don't know how you really turned that into a theme of the parade, with the parade being the theme. So that's kind of. I like some of the ones that were floated in the email about like freedom or like generations of freedom, things like that. I thought those were a good one. They didn't seem to be on the list recently, so it seemed like a good one to get back around to.
I thought if we're trying to refocus on Wyomissing, maybe just, what did we do like way back in the day, like the very beginning? Can you like somehow nod to that? I know like there's some kind of like,
years ago.
there's like some sort of like documentary or something on
That's the Wyomissing American Dreams.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pull out the newsletter from 1962, see what the theme was.
I have all the parade, or the parade guides.
Traditions. I mean, that's a good one. Maybe Wyomissing traditions.
Very fitting. We'll just stick with the tradition.
Exactly.
Do we need to pick one tonight so that we can get moving on it, or is that the goal? No.
So I don't think we have to pick one tonight. I just wanted to bring it back out. Hopefully, maybe next month we can get it hammered out so we can start putting the theme on all the media stuff we're going to go out for. So again, give it some more thought, and hopefully we'll get something hammered out next month. Anything else from the 4th of July meeting that I missed or you wanted to bring back up?
No, I think after our next meeting, we'll have more details thrown by the group.
Wonderful. Any other questions for the parade committee? All right, Kristen, back up. What's hot at the playground?
This is even less excellent. We are in the hot process of hiring. We had 2 interview dates, so we had a lot of kids come in for those. Erin and enrollments are continuing to trickle in pretty consistently, so I don't have the totals right now, but they're pretty consistently coming in. The only really low enrollment is the top lot of the hills, so we're keeping an eye on that. And we'll have to figure out how to handle if it stays that low, but I think last year we had maybe 9 or 10 in total, so we were able to stop it low but keep it there. So right now there's only one registered there, but it's early days, I think, for that.
And when they register, they split out between which playground they're going to for tot lot?
Yeah, you'll choose which location, so we'll just keep an eye on that and see cross when we get to it if we have to. But I think more people will sign up. Yeah.
Last year was 250.
We did figure out the themes for the weeks this year. So I know they're trying to keep the same kind of structure as last year, but they are mixing up the themes just to keep it a little fresh, so that they're not going and experiencing the same things as last year. And I think we have, is it baby bats?
No, I think they can't join us because it's baby bat season, and they're so busy taking care of the baby bats.
Oh, so they're
that
just
they
coming
can't
to talk
be-
about the big bats.
Yeah.
Okay. I knew there was something about baby bats. So
Bitty baby bats.
there's, yeah,
Say
so
that
they're
3
going to
times
do a
fast.
back presentation. I know that we have that set up. But that's about it. We're chipping away. Not more as we get closer, but that's about it.
As of 10 minutes ago, we're at 116 registrations, $15,305. And what Kristen's referring to is 2 people have signed up for the top lot at the Hills. So.
It's too perfect.
Mhm.
One,
One what?
preschool.
Oh, one kid.
It's not
I left a
real.
message with them
Yeah,
today.
we found a loophole where you can, once you're in kindergarten, it progresses you, but if you create a new account and you make them a preschooler, it will help them sign up. So we only had 2, but we found that out. So yeah, one legal participant at the shows.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
That's it.
Well,
Yeah.
thank you so much on the work so far. Any other questions for the playground? Wonderful. Off to the pool. How's the water?
It's cold. Randy, pool committee, Randy, and Kate and I met on Friday with Chris, and just trying to get a plan about how to go forward and make sure that we're properly staffed. So Chris is looking to staff the pool with 30 lifeguards, which will provide sufficient coverage for the entire pool season. He's also looking at 10 plus or minus front desk staff. Randy suggested adding a dedicated point of sale system, streamlined pool member check as well as guest fee processing. So have that hardwired so there's no Wi-Fi outages. With regard to the swim team, new coach was hired, Ashley Zappacosta. We're looking to verify swim meet scheduled by early spring. Need to BCSA vote. We must do a better job at making pool members aware of swim meets. And Pam is investigating the possibility of a Wyomissing Invitational. Pam and Kate are also looking into the possibility of having the West Reading swimmers join Wahoos. West Reading swim team members would be required to join the Wyomissing pool to participate. With regard to memberships, many new and upgraded programs okayed. Enhanced swim lessons, sweat, aqua fitness, swim with the mermaids, evening lap swimming will watch in the coming season. Pool committee hopes that this will increase the pool membership. Swim lessons, Chris received the WSI handbook from Randy. Swim lessons will be structured so that swim instructors will have time to communicate with parents after each lesson. Chris will be certified additional instructors this season. And very quickly, infrastructure rec improvements, new picnic tables, replace older tables in the pavilions, installing a new dugout pit for the kids, building an official wiffle ball field, and the pool still has a leak, but will be addressed mid-March. That's it in a nutshell. You guys have anything to cover?
I just wanted to say, not everybody knows, about the West Reading swimmers. A parent from the Wyomissing team reached out to me, and I brought this to you guys. West Reading pool does not have a swim team. So if you live in West Reading, there's no swim team to join.
Is this the first year that they don't have a swim team?
No, they haven't had a swim team for a long time now. This was, I think, brought to council a while back, and the rumor was that it was brought to council a while back, and it was denied. I don't know how this would go over with West Reading, and them losing people for their pool. I don't know how many people live in West Reading, students that want to join the swim team. I just wanted to kind of throw it your way.
We talked about it
Figure it out.
on Friday at the meeting, and we had mixed emotions about it. Pam was gonna do some research and try to put together a program, but our question is, since we only allow Wyomissing residents to be pool members, what's to keep me from getting a pool membership? Because I live in West Reading, and I want my daughter Sally to swim on the team, but I go to the pool every day. And Sally never goes to any meets, she doesn't go to practice or anything else, but I got a swim team membership. But now I'm a pool member and I live in West Reading. Then I tell Michelle, who lives next door to me, and now she does the same thing. And next thing you know, half of West Reading is pool members.
I think that would be the responsibility of the swim team, to know who their West Reading swimmers are. And
Well,
who
like I
the
said,
West Reading
Pam-
residents are, as far as like, I mean, when you sign in, I don't know if you have, maybe you have, I don't know. Like, I think that needs to be, I don't think it's gonna be as easy as that. Like,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
click it.
Pamela's looking at it, gonna flush it out and try to
You're
come
gonna
up
be
with
that's
something.
a West Reading
complicated issue.
resident. It is complicated, and it is gonna be an issue for West Reading, but
But what
these kids don't have anywhere to
Kate brought
swim.
up a great point, is those kids can literally go anywhere and join a swim team, anywhere except here. That they can go to Antietam, they can go
Yeah.
to any other pool.
Yeah.
And so, because my worry was, we're leaving a kid out that could potentially want to be a swimmer and not give them an option. And Kate said, no, Randy, they can go join any pool and swim on that team.
Yeah, I don't know if it was brought to, I don't know if this was asked about, because we're talking about Wyomissing School District, all the swimmers, the Wyowahoos, they all go to Wyo, the West Reading kids go to Wyo, but they can't swim with their fellow classmates.
Yeah, the way
I
it was
mean-
presented at our meeting was that they want to swim with their friends, and so they can
Yeah, they
just
wanna swim
start
after
joining this
Wyomissing.
one, but yeah.
There has been a loophole, I don't even want to call it a loophole, because it was pre-me, so I don't know the reason behind it, but you could be on the swim team if you worked at the pool. So you could live in Philly, and if you wanted to swim on that swim team, you got a job as a lifeguard, and then you could swim on the swim team.
They always pull all the guards in to swim in every meet.
Yep.
So I think it was just like an expectation rather than a privilege.
Wyomissing Hills has Wilson and Wyomissing students
There's no
on
reason
their team.
I would wonder how West Reading would feel about it, because like, if it's just is it just the swimmer joining, or is it their whole family? So like, if you have one kid joining and there's
We
4
don't
kids
know.
in the family,
Nobody knows.
and you have a family of 6, are they all going to Wyomissing?
Well, that's what I think Pam was looking at,
Yeah,
is
that's
we
the
didn't, we could,
board, the swim team board of directors is looking at language that would kind of try to go through all of those what ifs. So what if, are we able to offer the membership just to the swimmer to prevent, their family coming and then the swimmer not coming to practice and, stuff like that? Are we able to, police and kick the kid off the team and revoke their membership if they, end up doing things like not showing up and stuff like that? So we're putting together, an outline with those what ifs and trying to hash out what the language would look
Right.
like that would, address all of those concerns.
Complicated, yeah.
And it is a lot. So we have a rough outline at this point. It was
We just
sent
emailed
out
Friday after the poll committee.
yesterday that came through the email, so
Yeah.
I haven't even looked at it yet.
I feel like
But-
you
Is
should
your
have
swim
parents,
team
one
large,
parent.
or is it?
Exactly.
Hundreds.
Right,
Hundreds
right.
of kids like first grade through.
Right, right.
But if you're talking about West Reading, I mean, I don't know how many kids
That's
that
what we
is.
don't
that
know,
would
is
be.
that's another what if.
That's
Yeah,
the
that's
other one.
another
Is
one.
Is it
it
not even a
30
handful?
or 2? We
Right.
don't know. We don't know.
It's interesting.
Okay.
Well, I appreciate you
Yeah,
looking into
that's
it. Again, the solution at the end of the day might be that it's not something viable for us to do, but I appreciate you looking at it. And again, at the end of the day, it would be something that I take back up to council. I haven't run it past, brought it up to the larger council as a whole, because if it was not gonna come out of the pool committee with a good recommendation, it didn't seem to be something to waste time kind of up the chain. So if you guys feel like it's a non-viable avenue for us to go down, I appreciate you looking at it, and that's also going to be a good solution for us. Any other questions?
I just have a quick question. I haven't checked any responses from our Google Doc, but do you know what the interest has been for lifeguarding and?
Oh, ton.
Oh,
Like
great.
he's already offered, I think it was, lifeguards are 28 offer letters have gone out, front desk, 6 have gone out,
Wow.
1 assistant manager has gone out, the new swim team coach offer letter went out,
Okay.
Pamela,
We'll
and
have
the.
the assistant, do we talk about that now?
You don't need to,
Okay.
I mean, you
Okay.
can.
Okay, alright, it's the same number, yeah, but we'll have those names too by the end of this week.
So the good news is we're staffing on both sides. We're well in advance of last year.
Great.
And if you remember back, I think it was December when I talked about us looking at recruiting and hiring in January and February, because we all know that kids aren't very responsive. So we're trying to start and get everything going earlier, and it's paying off.
Great. And do we have swim team kids who are also applying for positions on the pool?
Oh, yeah,
Great, because we're trying to look for talented teachers too,
Yeah.
so.
oh yeah, there's a good handful of some team names on that list.
Great.
Wonderful. Thank you guys for the work. Any other questions for the pool? Wonderful. On to the director's report.
Okay, on the financial side, we're seeing an uptick in Stonehouse rentals already. Last month we had $900 revenue generated from it. We had one this past weekend. I talked to Melissa briefly. She said that one of the things she gets a lot of phone calls, or the front desk gets a lot of phone calls, is questions about what's in the Stonehouse. So one of the goals for us is to make the website have a little bit more detail, that you get 4 or 5 foot round tables, you get 30 folding chairs, maybe next time it gets decorated, take pictures so people can scroll through and see what they're renting. So it's more of a sales tool versus just saying, rent the Stonehouse for $300.
What's the maximum capacity?
40 to 50.
Yeah, it's not very high. And if I look at like the names, I'm not perfect at remembering everybody's names, but so many names are repeat people. And they're only renting it because they rented it before, so they know what it can do. So I don't think we get a lot of new people. Last week I had 3 meetings at the Stonehouse to walk through and show the space.
You
I felt
can't have
almost like a
alcohol,
realtor.
right? There's no
No.
alcohol, okay.
None in any borough property.
Gotcha.
So $900, we're off to a good start. We're already seeing reservations start happening at Happy Hollow for March, so people are counting on the weather turning, I guess. So good news is people are starting to rent. As I said earlier, the rec fundraising is up to $10,750. We got a check from Commission Whole Foods for $1,000 today, so they're a great partner for us. On the event side, the stargazing in the park was freezing. It was a beautiful night. The guy Elon is amazing. If you've never been, Rick, I know you've gone to a couple. The guy is a wealth of knowledge. He's so entertaining. He loves what he does. The other person who brings the $75,000 telescope out is awesome as well. That night was, when you're talking about the stars and planets lining up, Neptune, Mars. I mean, you saw every planet in the sky. So it was a great night. It was cold. I don't know how people stood out there for 3 hours. I kept having to go back and forth to my Jeep. But it was cold. We had a great turnout of about 35 people. So the next one is May 2nd at 8:30. The egg hunt, April 12th. Kristen went through that. Earth Day, we went through that on the 16th.
Randy, there's a typo there. The rain date for Earth Day is 1 p.m. start time.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think in the right guide it says 1 o'clock and online it's 1 o'clock.
Right.
The touch
I
of
didn't see it online, but I Yeah, it's
Touch a Truck is getting a great response, not only from the borough, Spring Township, we invited one of their flusher truck, and they've committed. I have a meeting with the military, with the recruiting station, to see if they can get some things. We have a bunch of construction trucks coming.
So start bringing the SWAT.
And we're bringing the SWAT vehicle. I wanted the evidence truck, but John said it's not very exciting because he doesn't want people in it.
Yeah.
But I think it's going to be a great event. I think the 17th annual one that's at the Phil Stadium, people have to pay $10 to go to that, and ours is going to be free, so I think we'll have a great turnout for that. We'll also have a food trucks there with Kona Ice and Choi's Caribbean Stir Fry, so we're excited about that one. From a programming standpoint, like I said, the playground, up to 116 registrations, interviews are done, the orientation for the volunteers. That was one of the big pushes for us this year, is we changed it. In years past, there was a gap year that kids aged out at 12 years old and they couldn't start volunteering until they were 14. And so the opportunity to lose that kid in that year was terrible. So we opened it up, and now you can be a volunteer at 13 and 14 and come back and work after that. It also gives us a chance to groom those kids and get them ready to be better counselors versus just throwing them in the fire and getting them started. So I think it was almost 20 kids volunteered. So even some of the parents I talked to that called were super excited. You know, you could look at it as, they still get to go to the playground for free. They still get to go and do it. But the idea is that we're going to train them to be, it's our jobs to use them as true volunteers and train them. So
What is the requirement for that? Are they there 5 days a week?
We don't really set that, because they're not getting paid. So Aaron and Nikki did a good job with them last year. In fact, one of their best volunteers was a kid. I sat through his interview with him, and if I had a teenage daughter, I'd introduce him to this kid because he was that impressive. So if any of you guys have teenage daughters, I have a kid for a boyfriend for them. One of the big pushes is our orientation this year. This is how I think we can get better from a playground standpoint. The guys from Public Works are going to come to the orientation and explain to the staff, hey, you can't rely on us to clean the bathroom, sweep the floors and do all that work for you. This is what your job is. You're making us come back and put us in an overtime position. So we're trying to make sure that we really explain it to them. The other one is talking about our expectations on our own staff, from their behavior, how to handle the behavior of participants. We've been going back and forth on a couple of emails over the weekend on that. So our orientation is going to get a lot more detailed this year. Pool registration opened on the 15th. We have 3 already for $1,150. We talked about the offer letters, front desk and lifeguards, the new activities. I think the swim with the mermaids and the sweat aqua fitness and the evening lap swimming are going to be big. Just to kind of give you an overview of how it's planned out, how I see it working, is they're all going to be in the evening and they're all going to be happening at the same time in the pool. The mermaids are going to be on the very shallow end of the pool. The sweat fitness is going to be where it comes up to mid chest, a little bit higher or lower than that, and then lap swimming. The idea is to get everybody else out of the pool for 45 minutes to an hour with the Gaga pit, the wiffle ball, the volleyball, basketball, and as Kate said, drive people to the snack bar and give them a break, get them out of the pool, and then we can let people enjoy other programming.
And what time is that again, Randy?
We're thinking 6:30. I haven't ironed it out yet.
That time anyway, so that's a good idea to get people back in.
What's that?
So the pool's usually dead at that time anyway. So
Yeah,
that's a good.
it's like that lull period.
Yeah, right.
That's
It's
what
good.
how Chris described it was.
Dinner specials at the snack bar.
Are we still gonna close the pool though at 7, like later in the summer? So
Yeah,
would the time shift then later in the summer?
When the kids start going back to school and we start losing staff, that's historically what it's been. It goes from 8 o'clock to 7 o'clock.
Right. So
Does
then,
that
but then I
ask-
mean, with those times, are those?
Those
I guess
are-
my question is that for the whole summer, or is that only for like?
We have preset times. Like I said, it's not finalized yet. I have preset times right now, and I'm just getting the girl who's doing the mermaid part, and as well as the aqua fitness lady, to confirm those times and dates.
The goal was to have a municipal. Cool.
The rec guides, I have 10 copies up here if anybody wants to take them with them. They got mailed out. They should be in homes. The key to remember is don't forget Wyomissing's mail goes to Harrisburg, then comes back to Wyomissing. So when I say it was shipped on 210, if you didn't get it, it's because it went to Harrisburg first. A couple of things I sent out to you. The first one, the student advisory committee. This was something that I guess had been in place before, and I've had conversations with the athletic director and the guidance counselor, and they're both super excited about bringing this back. Instead of going through this line by line and reading it to you, hopefully you guys read through it. If you have any questions on it, comments, but the idea, and Rick had a great suggestion. Originally when I wrote it, it was Wyomissing High School. And Rick reminded me, hey, there's kids that go to Berkshire or go to Wilson that live in Berkshire Heights that are residents. There's kids that go to Berks Catholic that are residents. So we need to open it up and change some of the wording on it. Any questions on this? The idea is to move forward with this. I want to run it by you guys and answer questions before I reach back out to the schools. And Liz has volunteered to be the adult in the room with this group. So, second one is the vending policy, the guidelines. This was something else I sent out to you guys, and this was a suggestion. Typically, food trucks and these types of vendors are used to paying a space fee or pay to play. In the past, Kona Ice has always donated back a percentage of sales, and they were one of the only ones that did that. The idea here is start charging everybody a vending fee to participate with us. Whether it's a food truck, if it's going to be at the farmer's market, at the Lighting of the Greens with the holiday marketplaces, they pay a $50 fee, which is probably going to be cheaper than a percentage of their sales, but it's a great way to get the program started.
I like the idea of doing a vending fee. I am a little concerned for like the smaller events, like for like 4th of July, there's tons of people there. For Spooky Hollow, there's tons of people there. Like for Earth Day, I'm struggling to get vendors there for free. Like, so I would just throw that out there. Like for a smaller event, I'm a little like I completely support the idea of having a vending fee. I'm just a little bit concerned that like if you're a vendor and you have a choice between paying $50 and being at Spooky Hollow or $50 and being at at like the Stonehouse on 4th of July and or Earth Day, who's gonna pick Earth Day? Like that would be my only. So is there any like? I just want to raise that as an issue potentially.
I see the point. I don't know what the solution is.
Yeah, I don't either.
I don't know
like
how I would pick and go, oh, nobody comes to Earth Day, so don't worry about paying. That kind of undersells what Earth Day's about.
Yeah, we're building Earth Day.
Yeah.
It's just that right now, like if you're a business and you have to pay, like I'm having a hard time getting people to come for free.
You're also backing yourself into a corner in that we would have to put this in the fee schedule, meaning we can't pick and choose who it applies to. We have to treat it uniformly.
Well, would Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts pay? Because historically they have, right? They haven't paid for facilities.
Nonprofits, we typically always exclude nonprofits.
So nonprofits would not have to.
But they have to provide 501c3 registration paperwork or something showing they are a registered nonprofit to take advantage of that.
The solicitor's looking at this now and wordsmithing it to make sure that it's all okay. But same thing here. And Jess, I hear your comment. I don't have a solution for it.
Yeah. Like, what if
does
you
it involve like some of the other vendors, like when we have like the sports teams show up, like if the football team is selling hot dogs at an event, are they paying $50 to be there? If they don't have a nonprofit? Okay. Just make do they have a nonprofit?
if they don't have a 501c, like they're not a.
But if they're an affiliation under the school district, they're an exempt unit of government, which is what we, the borough, are. So we don't have 501c3, but we're tax exempt and we're considered nonprofit.
I just want to make sure that we're not going to be starting to charge those type of community groups.
But I think the football booster team is a specific 501. I think.
What about like if you do, I don't know, like, can you say the first year you pay, like, I mean, obviously, like, you wanna get this up and running, it's been a long time coming, but I'm just wondering, like, if the first year, $25, and then you come back, and then you kinda know what your audience is, how big the event is, how much profit you made, and whether it's worth it to come back or not. Do you think there's a big difference between 25 and 50 for vendor fee? Like, if for your first year trying a new event?
I mean, I think that gets really hard to parse out though, because how long do we go back? Is this a first year for, like, I think it's even at $50, it doesn't seem like that bar is extremely high. I think for what we can return, especially with the effort we put into a lot of these events, some of these events, obviously you guys have been to them over the past couple of years, we had some on the brink of not moving forward. And I think everybody in this room has worked real hard to bring all of those back, and now we have across the board nothing but successful events right now. So I don't think it's a big issue to have those vendors and say, there's a little something when you're coming in making a profit off of our events to get some of that space. So I mean, I appreciate your concern that, $50 versus $25 versus people who are used to doing it for $0. But I mean, we've had a lot of people doing it for $0 up until now. So I think that, it's one of the ways that we can, turn around and not just provide the space and get something back in return.
Yeah, Justin, I think that, when I look at what other boroughs do, other townships, and I know that even back in my Manatawny days and Sly Fox days, sometimes we paid as much as $500 to go to some of these events.
Oh yeah, I don't
And they get
disagree with
thousands
the
and
vendor
thousands of
fee. I'm just
dollars.
thinking from for my particular event, I know how hard it is to get people to show up. Like I'm asking favors of people to come. Like it's like people I know personally that I'm trying to get to come. Like they're doing a favor for me. It's not like they're coming in making a lot of money. Like it's just, I mean, unless we really push from a marketing standpoint, Randy, I think Earth Day last year, if we really push the farmers market and really push that so people come prepared to spend, then maybe then I feel like it would be more worthwhile.
Okay, I'll update you. I'll update you when I get feedback from Chris, the solicitor, and what changes, if anything, has to be made.
So you're gonna have to get feedback from Chris, so this isn't gonna be addressed until your March meeting, which means it's not going to council until at the earliest the April meeting.
Yeah.
And then to get it advertised.
We don't have to advertise
Well,
resolution.
If, basically should have secured all your vendors prior to that.
For this year, yeah.
For this year.
this year.
So make this year killer, and then you'll be
Trying.
good to go.
That's what I was thinking.
If you're gonna bypass that
fee this
it really
year.
promotes the market and people come and show up and buy food and buy stuff, and
Yeah.
then next year they'll see it as worthwhile.
Right, I mean, you've expanded it so quickly too, that hopefully we'll be able to gather a lot of data, how it, see how it goes and have that knowledge going forward.
And maybe ask the vendors too,
Yeah.
say how'd you do, what was your profit, and just see kind of what the hell they did this
You
year.
could do a little survey for each of them at the end,
That would be
pass
cool.
it out to them.
Yeah, to
Bubbles,
see if
1 through 5.
okay.
And let them know next year.
Yeah.
I
Look,
did
we're
say
trying to
that.
expand,
I reached out to the Junk for Jazz. I reached out to that woman who owns that, and she owns another business near Crave, I guess. And she has a list of 75 vendors. She's like, I can't be there, but I'm gonna send it to my 75 vendors. I was like, perfect. So we'll see.
Okay.
Maybe they would be interested in paying too.
The last topic is more of a FYI, just to make sure that you guys are up to speed on what's going on from the capital improvements. These are all things that were approved, I think back in November budget meetings, as I described them to you how brutal they were, but these were rec approved projects. Last year, as you remember, we did inspections, playground inspections, and there's money set aside to go in and fix some of the discrepancies or falling short items. Greg has that. He's kind of overseeing that. Last week we had the Berkshire Heights Equipment and ADA Access meeting. That's going out to bid within the next probably 10 days. They're putting together the bid documents, and those will be sent out. I did bring up the fact that the first Movies in the Park, or second Movies in the Park is in September, so we want to write it into the bid that they have to be done with the project by then, or have safety fencing up to keep people out of that. So Another project for the playgrounds is the benches approved for the Hills and Happy Hollow. Think about, easiest way to describe it are the green benches around the basketball courts at the Hills, where some of the coating has come off and it's rusted and it's dangerous. We'll be replacing those benches. The pool, the pavilions closest to the restrooms and the snack bar, we're replacing all those picnic tables. We're installing a new Gaga pit. We're building a wiffle ball baseball field. We're getting umbrellas for the lifeguard chairs. To kind of cut down on lost keys and our replacement key cost, we're putting in keypad locks at the Happy Hollow and the Hills. Greg and his guys are looking at the Stonehouse. They don't think they can put it in there because there's a panic bar on that door, so you can't put a keyless lock on that. So those are the rec improvements.
Are you providing like the balls for wiffle ball?
Mm-hmm. We'll have that. I'm working with the Baseball Association to try to get them to sponsor a paid tournament prior to the pool openings, that we would split the profits, the registration fees, and if they get 1,000, they'd have to give us $500 back.
Can I recommend, if we're loaning out that like wiffle ball bat and stuff, that kind of like you do in the bar, you give them your ID.
Yeah, we do that at the pool.
card.
It's $1.
Basketballs, you have to do
Okay.
something.
You do
Give
a
them
dollar.
It's like, it
Yeah,
used to be
whatever.
$1.
So that's-
and then-
Yeah, well, we have like cards now, so if they give them their card.
Most of those kids bring their, I mean, I was shocked. They
Right.
bring backpacks with 3 different bats stuck in the back of it, and so the kids who play that,
I'm just thinking like the school playground, everything gets lost and broken.
yeah.
They're constantly
But they do it to
asking
put
for
$1 down.
It's really fun. You just get $1 down and just put $1 and people can pass them junior basketball or whatever. It's cool.
That's all I have for the director's report.
Wonderful. No old business, no new business, so we are at the end of the meeting. Anybody else have anything?
I just have a real quick question. We didn't talk about Memorial Day stuff. Is that we're thinking next time?
We haven't had, we briefly talked about it at the end of the Egg Hunt playground meeting, and we have to put that on the agenda and get a meeting. So
I was gonna say fishing rodeo too, because that's before, that's.
I can tell you that what's been done on that is I'm working with Tyler to get some recommendations for the marshals. I started working on the participation buttons. The motorcycle people have committed. The invitation letters all go out tomorrow. They're all written and they'll be sent out tomorrow. I can't talk about it because it's not on the agenda.
And so I guess that is everything for us. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Wonderful. Thank you guys for your time today. Enjoy your
Yesterday.
Second.
Yesterday.